Time for us to find more with God.
Yeah, and you know who we find more with God with? It's the one, the only Kendra Von Esch of the Von Esches of Tennessee. Good morning to you, Kendra.
Hey, Kendra.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing this Tuesday?
Doing great. And I normally distract you with a bunch of questions right up front, and I actually have some, but I don't want to do that because you are talking to us about some very important things that we're carrying over, discerning spirits, and we want to jump right into it.
Awesome. Okay, so last time, yes, we squeezed 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag. So let's review. We did rules 1 and 2. This is all about discernment of spirits. So rule 1 is for people who are not yet converted. They're still deeply attached to sin. So it's the opposite of what we think, where you get peace when you're doing bad things. That's where the evil one comes in, and he coaxes you in to staying into sin. He gives you that peace. So you stay in that sin, or you listen to God, who at that point is poking and prodding at you, telling you, hey, stop doing this, gives you a sense of uneasiness and guilt. All right, then the second directional rule is rule number 2. We talked about this last time, and this is for people who are on the conversion path. They're striving towards goodness. So once you're moving towards God, you're trying to live better. And the evil spirit will, on the contrary, start discouraging you. He'll put up obstacles. He'll sow doubts and fears, while the good spirit will support you. He's going to bring ease into the difficulties. He's going to inspire you, console you, and hopefully remove those obstacles so that you can go forward on your faith journey. Okay, so we're jumping into rules 3 and 4, which are consolation versus desolation. So, guys, I want you guys to think about some moments when you were in desolation, because I think most of us get the consolation piece. So let's talk about consolation. Sorry.
No
So
problem.
consolation is an interior movement. It increases our faith, our hope, our love, our joy, our peace, and we kind of draw ourselves more toward heavenly things. It really brings us closer to God. So maybe you've had a moment in prayer where you feel that deep peace. I know I have sometimes, just these tears of love streaming down my face. Maybe it's like just renewing your desire to follow God. You know, you read the Gospels and you have this sense of inspiration to do something. Maybe it's to serve others, and you feel all energized about it. And let's not forget about those sacraments. So after confession, maybe you come out of there and you feel so much lighter, and you're hopeful that you're not going to commit that sin again. Consolation is awesome. Who doesn't love consolation when we're having those moments like deeply with God? And then rule number 4 is desolation. It's the complete opposite. It's where you have this interior unease, you have this darkness, this dryness, maybe you're totally discouraged, you have fear, you've got confusion, and in all of this, it just moves you away from God. So it's like that day that you sit down to pray, you feel nothing. And then maybe you're overwhelmed with these distractions or this sadness or this confusion or those to-do lists. And so your prayer is pretty not fruitful, let's just say that. You're just struggling to stay in that peace. Maybe you doubt your faith. I remember when I was on my journey in the beginning, I kept going to confession week after week after week with all of these different sins. And the evil one put in my mind, well, maybe I'm just not made to be holy.
Right.
I'm just not supposed to be holy, I don't think. And so that's how the devil can play with you in these moments. Maybe you're struggling with sin like I was. Maybe you've had a setback and you feel discouraged and you just want to abandon this whole spiritual practice, all of this Christianity, because things aren't going your way. So, guys, what is a moment in your life when you have been in desolation on the spiritual journey?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it ebbs and flows, right? Peaks and valleys. But I have to say I've experienced desolation a few times in my life, and the worst one, and I'll double down on what you were just saying, Kendra. The first time you're going through that desolation, is the worst, right? Because you haven't experienced it before. It's foreign to you. So you've come into this relationship with God, and then all of a sudden you're going into this little bit of darkness. And I have to say, as years pass, you kind of anticipate it, and you know that it too will pass. The consolations will come. The desolation will eventually go away. Doesn't make it a whole lot easier, but it does make it somewhat easier.
Ron?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my
Ron.
comment right there.
Yeah.
Ron's got nothing for us.
I love where this is going, though.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, and look, this consolations and desolations, I have to tell you, I've been through some very difficult times in my life, just as you have, Kendra. I've lost a parent, I've lost a brother, I've experienced loss. And what people tell you in the midst of that loss is, get help, cover it up in any way you can, particularly from a modern point of view. Take medicine, do all that. And I said, I don't want to miss a minute of this pain, because I will tell you, in the midst of that pain, the one thing I will say is I have received great consolation, walked with the Lord in ways that I never have walked with Him, unless I'm in that kind of that kind of interior and actually even physical pain. Then the Lord is there in a strong way, and I just don't want to miss His presence in the midst of that.
Seems like it always comes that way.
Yeah.
Amen. That's exactly how it was with me and my husband. I was never closer to God.
Yeah.
So we can take those moments of desolation and make them into consolation in the circumstances of our life.
Amen to that.
Good stuff, man. I love that. And of course, that's
so next week.
What do you got next week?
What to do in desolation or consolation. We're going to go through rules 5 through 11. So stay tuned.